The success of the new Marshall shop would rely heavily on Jim's long connection with Premier Drums.
Being as Premiers used to use me in advertising, they immediately said, well, we cannot turn you down. You can have the West London area.
Jim's son, Terry, joined the venture aged just 16.
So we opened it as a music shop, but it had a concentration of drums, and the guitar side was very minimal.
With years of teaching experience behind him, Jim had an easygoing rapport with younger customers. Soon, Jim and Terry were selling 20 kits a week and hired their first employee.
And we were unique, really, because he had such a vision about customer service.
And all of the drummers would come by and say, well, you know, why don't you stock guitars? Because every drummer needs, you know, a guitar player and other musicians to go along with. And so he started to stock guitars.
The swinging embargo on American guitars had just been lifted, but anyone buying one would need deep pockets.
When we first started stocking the Gibsons and Fenders, they were the most expensive guitars we had in the shop. And the reason we bought these more expensive instruments, because it made cheaper instruments sell easier.
Oh, Jim was a lovely person. He was a very happy-go-lucky sort of guy, and he let us guys go into his shop and sit around and play anything on the wall.
He didn't worry that you weren't buying anything. We just used to hang out there, and it was like a labour exchange for, for up-and-coming rock musicians.
The British rock and roll boom was in full swing, and every teenager wanted a part of it.
I saw Billy Fury. He was rather good. He put his foot in the spotlight, this silver lame leg with a silver lame shoe on it, and all these chicks went bananas. So I thought, that's the job for me.
Other young guitarists fell for the seductive tones of the American blues.
The guy that blew me away when I first heard him was Johnny Hooker. And I got one of his very early albums. There was a track on there called The Devil's Jump. And he had this idea to put the microphone inside the guitar, restring the guitar, and then do the song that way, singing into the guitar. Let the devil's jump, like that. And it was this incredible distorted noise. This is like 1949. So, you know, we can't claim to have invented distortion.
The thing that the guitarist wants is something else. You know, he doesn't really want the cleanest guitar sound in the world, or we'd all end up sounding a bit like the soundtrack to Bonanza.
Edgier guitar tones were finding their way into pop. This began to interest the Maverick producer Joe Meek. One of Jim's drum pupils got a call from his tiny North London studio.
He said, come up and see us. He said, I've got the Outlaws, they need a drummer. Had a little jam with them, and they said, oh yeah, that's fine, yeah. And they wanted a guitarist. And I thought, I think I might know the man.
17-year-old Richie Blackmore joined the Outlaws, and guitar sounds turned wild.
An arms race began to develop. Could the guitar player be able to make more noise than A, the drummer, and B, the audience?
Everybody wanted to be louder, everybody. What did we want to be as loud as? We wanted to be as loud as the drums.
Well, having talked to so many of the top drummers, they brought their groups in with them. And I'd known Pete Townshend for many years because I used to play with Pete's father.
The shop became the focus for the West London music scene.
If you wanted to hear what was going on in the business, you went to Marshall's.
And then you had Ted's Cafe, a couple of doors away. Or if you wanted something a bit more refined, you'd cross the road to the Rendezvous. And it was just a whole social scene.
It was a meeting place, a place to go with ideas where you would know you would get listened to. And so some of my ideas, the guys in my band wouldn't listen to them.
And while we were in there, we used to say, you know, we couldn't have to do with amplifiers. You don't do amplifiers, do you?
In the next episode, Jim meets Ken and the first amp is born.